Still, in 2022, when it comes to talking about Google Ads, I see this little abbreviation pop up all the time. CPC, it stands for cost per click. And so many people out there that are trying to run Google Ads become asphyxiated on this CPC. And maybe 10 years ago, or not maybe, but 10 years ago, that was what you had to asphyxiate on. And that's what really ultimately determined your success. But I have to say, these days, and for the last 3, 4, maybe even 5 years, I forget how long it's been now, I've had no clue what my CPC is at all. Like, I really don't even care unless somebody asks me and I want to check it out. Then I'll log into Google Ads, look at my CPC and check it out. But off the top of my head, I really don't have a very specific idea. I've got a broad range of what my CPC could be, but I have no idea. And I spend literally over $10,000 a day on Google Ads just for my business, okay? So this is not client money or somebody else's money I'm playing with. It's money out of my own pocket for my own business. And I do not care what my CPC is at all. And the reason for that is because I'm focused on a conversion event and ultimately driving my cost per conversion down and getting the most value out of those conversions. So if it's going to cost me $10 a click or $100 a click, I don't care as long as my target cost per conversion is where I want it to be. And this whole video was invoked by this post here in a group that I'm in, and this user says, I've seen the estimates with Google tools, but in real life, is it possible to get cheaper clicks by targeting specific locations? For instance, say I was selling Magento development services now in cities like New York, it'll be very competitive, yes, but it might be cheaper to target, say, a small town in Texas where there are no guys offering that service. Has anyone experimented with targeting small towns? Did your CPC go down? My thought behind this, and if I wanted to offer Magento web development services, and Magento is like an e-commerce shopping cart platform. I actually used to own an e-commerce business that was on Magento back in 2009. I sold it in 2012. So I'm surprised to see that Magento is still around. I have not heard about Magento in a very, very long time, but I recall it being a very complex shopping cart. There's a lot of problems, a lot of bugs, always needed developers to fix it. Anyways, Magento development services. So, this user is thinking about targeting specific towns to get a lower cost per click, but first thing, as a high volume advertiser, I'm thinking is there's not enough volume in small towns. And number two, people in these towns are probably looking for somebody local, somebody they could possibly meet with. They're not going to want an international solution or a remote web developer. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm right. I'm probably neither wrong or right. I'm probably partial both. There might be some of the audience that'll convert no matter where you are. Some of them want something local. But that said, I don't see it as worth it to try and chase lower cost keywords. Instead, what I would do is set up the conversion event and let Google Smart Bidding figure it out. So let's just kind of go to a web whiteboard here and basically talk about how to win at Google Ads without thinking about CPC. And I don't know if that's the best way to say it, but there's two steps you really fundamentally need to have here. First is a conversion event, and the conversion event is very important, and it needs to be a valuable conversion event. All right, so this might not be downloading an ebook, okay? This might be answering a complete questionnaire. Okay, so let's just put ebook download. So that's going to get you the lowest quality leads. All right, then, if you kind of go further down the quality of value in a conversion event, you might do a web form, let's say multi-step web form. We'll just call it a questionnaire, that ultimately reveals pain points, right? So this is going to be a lead, but you're going to have a lot of conviction from the user that comes through it. And then finally, if you really, really want to get higher quality, you might do something like a paid website audit. or some kind of entry-level service, maybe Magento speed optimization. Right? So that way you are optimizing for something that's valuable in that it's likely to lead to a customer. Now, if they're paying for something up front, right, if they're putting money in, they're ultimately going to be most likely going to be more valuable on the long term. If they're just putting in a name and email address to get an ebook on how to do maintenance on your Magento site, that's really not a thing, but what would be a thing? 5 steps to optimize the speed on your Magento site, right? They're going to be a lot lower quality than somebody that fills out a multi-step form, revealing pain points or possibly saying, hey, this is the issue I have and I need it fixed. What is your timeline to get this Magento project completed? 1 week, 1 month, 3 months, all right? When you ask those kinds of questions, you start getting higher quality leads. So you ultimately need to define a valuable conversion event and then use Google Smart Bidding to find the people that are most likely to complete your conversion event. And Smart Bidding will ultimately find them at the lowest cost, assuming you get a large enough sample size. Okay, so this is the next thing, where most people fail when it comes to Smart Bidding is they put it on and they get like 5 conversions and they're like, oh my gosh, this is way too much money. This thing isn't working. No, you have to let that thing get conversions and you have to spend money. I often say I often do, when I start new campaigns, I'll lose thousands of dollars on the front end just to get my sample size in. And then from there, I either decide A, I'm going to improve my creative, B, it's not working, or C, it is working, right? One of those 3, but I always need to get a sample size. I typically go for at least 50. 100 would probably be better. And then in that case, you can kind of go beyond that, and then you can start using target CPA, right? So if you know that somebody that fills out this questionnaire turns into $1,000 project on average, and you sell, just say 1/3 of them, right? Maybe your target CPA should be $50. Maybe it should be more. Maybe it should be $100, and it costs you $300 to get a $1,000 client. If you have no cost of goods sold, well, then you have $700. Excuse me. I was going to say 700 in gross profit, but there's obviously going to be some development costs or your time behind that. But you have $700 in free cash flow to cover your cost of services or your own personal time. So yeah, CPC, I don't really know how else to say it if I haven't driven this home, but it's really a old school irrelevant metric at this point. When you're optimizing for a conversion event, when you are truly optimizing for a conversion event, and you've got Smart Bidding set up and you're focused on that cost per conversion, CPC simply becomes obsolete. So guys, on that note, I hope you found this helpful and insightful. If you did, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button. I'm signing off on this one.